about 45 miles southeast of Minot. He went to school in a country one-room school. Sometimes he was able to ride a horse to school. He went to high school in Velva, North Dakota, graduating in the class of 1940. Lynn went to UND in Grand Forks starting in 1941 and graduated with a law and accounting degree in 1949. He worked for the IRS for 10 years in Minneapolis and Fargo. He then moved to Minot and managed a medical clinic until retiring in 1985. Lynn served in the North Dakota legislature in 1967 and 1969, and then 1987 and 1989 for a total of 4 sessions. He has been active in North Dakota Republican politics and was the treasurer for John Hoeven's first campaign for governor. Lynn was married in 1952 to Beverly Stockstead, and together they raised 4 sons. Shortly after their 50th wedding anniversary, Bev passed away in 2003 from cancer. And the reason we're here, Lynn served in the Army in World War II on the front lines in Europe in 1944 and 1945, and received combat injuries in March of 1945. He is here to talk about World War II from the perspective of a frontline soldier who actually did the fighting. He was not an officer or comfortably stationed in a safe location. In 1999, Lynn and their family went to Europe and toured the actual sites of Lynn's training and battles and the exact location where he was injured. Here to tell the story of his experience of World War II is Lynn Aas.
Thank you. I have my son with me, Joel, that's Ellen's father, and I have some other relatives here. I have a nephew over there.
Your grandson.
Grandson? He's getting up fast enough. And his fiancée is also over here. And is Grace here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the first question, there were, and thank you, Mrs. Query, for
We're all from them.
for giving me an opportunity. I don't know if I need the opportunity, but thank you for being concerned about the freedoms, the needs of your class to understand the real, the history of this country and the importance of some things that we do. Now, one of the questions you had, and by the way, I saw some of those questions, and they're very good. They really are. They're kind of challenging, but they're good. But the last question on there was, is Ellen your favorite granddaughter? I talked to Grace about that. And Grace said, well, you can tell them that for today she is. Yeah. But she didn't give me much more concession than that. So that's about where we are on that one. So I will answer that last question first. Ellen is my favorite granddaughter. So we'll start with that. Now I'm pretty much a country boy. I grew up very innocent on one of the North Dakota farms, not unusual in this, in that age group where I was born on the farm. And I went to a country school where all the students were Ukrainian, except my family, which was Norwegian. And so it was, it was what you'd call a blended group of people at that time. Not the blends that we have today, but it was an interesting blend, and we went to school for 8 months and continued on only through 8th grade. And so things were not too good, so I was actually out of school 1 year before I got to high school, and I was out of high school 1 year before I got to college, because I had brothers and sisters that needed to go on to education as well, But that's the way farming was, and that's the way living was during that period of time. And Joe and I have discussed, should he ask me questions and lay foundation as to the past, the period. You know, you have to remember that in 1939, when the war started in Europe, when Hitler did all of his invasions, some of them were even before that, but when England got into the war, that was at the time when you were, would be about, it would be about the same, I would be about the same age as you are. I'd probably be 1 year older. So you can place the timing as to the young people that had to go to World War II at that time. And not much older than the ones you see around you, not much older than those boys sitting up there as far away from me as they can get. But that's the timing. So it's very appropriate that your teacher should want you to know the importance of that war and its impact on the future of the United States. And you know, I've been asked to speak to a number of fraternal type of organizations, church organizations, and one school on occasion. And I did speak to Nick's class when he was in 8th grade.
8th grade, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so I have kind of done some of this. It's not easy, but it's gotten a little bit more easy as time goes on. And also, there are very few people left that actually were in combat on the front lines that are World War II veterans still living. There are a number of veterans living, but a lot of them were in ordinances. They were in various service type of things, but only 7% or 8% of the total armed forces had carried rifles or were frontline combat people, and I was one of them. So there are not many of them left, and I think we should tell our story if we can, and so I feel that it is nice to do that. You know, although I have declined speaking in the past for some time, I think it's now at the point where who else? And when you're at the point where it's who else, and you have people that perhaps have doubts and skepticism of what the seriousness, the impact of the war was, it might be well to say something. For many years after World War II, and during that time, about the only people we could visit with or talk to were our